Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast, where today we're going over UFC Kansas City, Machado Garry versus Prates. First things first, make sure you smash that like button. Give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. There was no event last week. 2 weeks ago, we did well though. Went 5 of 6 on picks. Only one to lose was Michael Chandler, of course. Go figure. Never trust him again. I love that guy, but he's there for fun. He's not there for seriousness. So he's on my no bet list like Kevin Holland. It just is what it is. You can enjoy their fights, but you don't put money on them themselves or against them, honestly. You just stay away and enjoy the fight. But this is a decent offering. It is going to be in front of a live crowd, and those cards do have a tendency to be a little better. And this is no different. It is not a crappy Apex card. It's no pay-per-view, but it's a pretty fun card, especially when to come back to when we've not had fights for over a week. So there's 14 fights on this card right now. A lot of people that are perpetual weight missers, so emphasis on right now, but it's a lot of fights to break down. So let's not waste any time and kind of jump right into it. You're not here to hear me babble. You're here to hear me talk about fights and win some money. So let's start with the very first fight of the night. You want to talk about people that miss weight all the time. We have Chelsea Chandler as a plus 235 dog going against Jocelyn Edwards at minus 290. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 500. Under 2.5 at plus 300. Let's just start with Chelsea Chandler. Chelsea Chandler is also on the no bet list. I will never, ever, ever put any sort of money on Chelsea Chandler. She's not a prospect. She's 34 years old. She's no spring chicken. She never makes weight. I don't think she's ever made 135. I think she's missed weight every single time. She's one of the biggest casualties of the 145 division anymore. She's a Caesar Gracie girl, so her jujitsu's decent. Her ground and pound is where she shines. She's better at ground and pound than she is at submission. She is just heavy with all that extra weight, and she gets on top and just absolutely punches your face through the floor. But outside of that, she can't really wrestle to get it down there. She can't really strike too well. She hits decently hard, but if you hit her, she does not like it. She has some of the worst reactions I've ever seen. Just looks very bad optically. We've seen her run across the octagon. We've seen her get hit and just if you touch her, she backs up. She does not like getting touched whatsoever, and that's not good for her because she's extremely hittable. She has a 33% takedown defense if you do want to take her down to the ground. And she's just physically slow. Like she's just not really an athlete. So at the end of the day, her cardio is okay. It's not good. It's not bad. She has really good ground and pound, and that's really about it. If you're a terrible, terrible wrestler, maybe she can get you down there and shine. If you have any semblance of wrestling and she's forced to stand. She has some issues. She's not a striker by any means. On the other side, we have a pure striker in Jocelyn Edwards. Edwards is 29 years old, so she is in her prime. She has a 2 inch reach advantage in this matchup, which is nice. Her cardio is also okay. I'd put it at the same level as Chelsea Chandler. She has good striking. She has decent volume. She has 61% takedown defense. Now, that's not a good number, but when she initially came into the UFC, it was awful. It was a lot worse. She has gotten head and shoulders better since when she first came. Yanan Wu took her down a million times. Carol Rosa took her down a million times. Jesse Rose Clark took her down a million times. That's how you were beating her. It was right around that Ramon Pasquale fight where her takedown defense started to look a little better. And her jujitsu's looked a lot better. I mean, in her second to last fight against Eileen Perez, we saw major improvements on the ground. And then she got it might be her first ever submission in her very last fight against Tamaris Vidal in the third round. So I did like seeing that quite a bit. I still don't think she's great, but she is someone where you saw her all the way back in her debut in 2021. And 4 years later, you do see a different fighter. The 29-year-old and the 25-year-old fighters are not the same. I do appreciate the effort she's putting in. And I'll go ahead and I'll support her on her upward trajectory. I can't say it. Upwards. At the end of the day, the pick is going to be Edwards. The bet's going to be Edwards. Do I trust her at minus 290? Not really. But it's the first fight of the night. If she blows up your parlays, you can go ahead and just reset and start over. But stay the fuck away from Chelsea Chandler. The pick is Jocelyn Edwards. The bet is Jocelyn Edwards. Next fight of the night is one of the most 50-50 fights on the card, and the line reflects that. We have Timothy Kawamba at minus 105 going up against Roberto Romero Hernandez at minus 115. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 260. Under 2.5 at plus 190. Let's start with Timmy Kawamba because he's someone I just can't get a read on. I bet against him in Contender Series against Vogel, and I thought you could actually make an argument that Vogel won that fight, but ultimately they did give the decision to Timothy Kawamba. Then I bet on him against Bellagio Oki, and he lost a split. Then I bet on him against Lucas Almeida, and he got dropped multiple times. So I have not bet against this guy correctly or on this guy correctly. I just cannot figure him out. Part of the reason is because he's 26 years old, so he's still growing in the sport. He has good striking. I wish he threw a little more. He doesn't have a ton of volume. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's right at that limit, like a touch under average. But he is okay wrestling. He has good striking. His jujitsu is all right. His cardio seems perfectly fine. He has good cardio. He does tend to counter strike, and that's part of the reason all counter strikers are lower volume, and that's part of the reason he keeps losing these close decisions because he's not throwing enough countering. And he backs up in counters, and that doesn't always look good to all judges. So you do have to be careful of the judges' scorecards with him. Also, I've seen him rocked on more than one occasion, but especially that last fight against Lucas Almeida. I know Lucas hits really, really hard, but he got dropped like 3 or 4 times. They could have stopped the fight. He has heart. He kept fighting and he made it close. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying he's chinny by any means, but he is susceptible to getting dropped. He's not invincible. All in all, he's just a young, decent counter striker. It's really what it comes down to that will sprinkle in takedowns here and there. On the other side, we have Romero, who's just as young. He's actually younger. He's 25 years old. He has good striking himself, coming from the combate global scene. Just your average Mexican boxer. He's better than his 8-4 record shows, but not much better. He's not amazing by any means. His jiu-jitsu is all right. It's probably equivalent to Timothy Kawamba's. His wrestling isn't great, and his takedown defense is showing a 66% accuracy. Now, don't get me wrong. He's only had one fight in the UFC, but David Onama is not the world's greatest wrestler. He's all right, but to get taken down multiple times by Onama is not the greatest look. I mean, when he does get taken down, he does have a tendency to play guard a little bit. He is a little hittable when he's on his feet. Again, that classic Mexican boxing style where he's able to take one to give one. His power isn't good enough to keep doing that. He can be technical at times, has a pretty decent low kick on him, but he can get goaded into a brawl and just kind of lose all sense of fight IQ and just want to go out there and fight like he's on the streets. He starts really fast and he does slow down in his fights. Kawamba definitely has a cardio edge here. Um, you can outpoint him too. Like he wants to brawl. If you want to just play it real clean and just jab him to death, he's someone that's going to continually walk forward and let you punch him in the face, just so that he can try to swing heavy on you and brawl. And it doesn't always work. Sometimes he gets pieced up while he's sitting there. He's durable, but he can get pieced up as he's just marching forward trying to hit you, which doesn't really bode well against a counter striker here. So at the end of the day, I understand why it's 50-50. I think this is a super close fight. I was going to say it's a complete dog or pass. However, it's kind of a pick 'em. So gun to my head, I'd say Timmy Kawamba is the pick and the bet at minus 105. What I think is really safe is both these guys are pretty durable. I don't think either one's ever been knocked out. The over 2.5 is minus 260. So I'd probably take fight goes to decision or the over 2.5. It could definitely also be a Kawamba or Roberto split decision. I could definitely see this going to a split. So if you want to get a ton of money, I would take Kawamba by split. If you want to take a 50-50 shot on a minus 105 dog, Timothy Kawamba's your bet. And if you just want to play it safe and make sure you have a safe leg in your parlay and take that over 2.5 at minus 260, you can take that approach as well. Next fight of the night, we are not betting the over. There is a under 2.5 at minus 260 in women's MMA. You heard that right. The under 2.5 is minus 260. The over 2.5 is plus 200. In this matchup between Jacqueline Amarim at minus 850. 850 against Polyana Viana at plus 500. Why on earth is the under the way it is? It's a combination of who they're fighting and who the UFC is trying to promote. Jacqueline Armorim is 29 years old. She is not horrible to look at. She has world class jiu-jitsu. She has sneaky good striking. I don't think it's that bad. She hits decently hard too. She's a pretty strong physical girl. Their striking is not good. I shouldn't say sneaky good. It's serviceable on the feet, and she has sneaky power on the feet, is what I should say. Her wrestling's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's your classic jujitsu girl. Her schedule's not great. Her volume's not great. Her cardio is atrocious. That's what it really comes down to. A lot of people like to fade Jacqueline Amarine because she cannot go for 15 minutes and win all three rounds. She just can't. She just does not have the cardio to do so. She is a BJJ world champion, and she takes you down and she submits you. You look at all of her records. She loves arm bars too. Vanessa Demopoulos, armbar. Corey McKenna, armbar. Mazeret Ruiz. She had her in a ton of arm bars, and Ruiz is apparently Gumby, and her bones don't snap. So she ultimately had to ground and pound her. She had a rear naked choke in on Sam Hughes real deep, but Sam Hughes got out. Amarim gassed out, and that's how she lost. That's her only career loss because of her cardio. And then over on the regional scene, armbar, knee bar, a quick 10-second knockout. Again, sneaky power, rear naked choke, arm triangle. She could choke you and knock you. And the first win, armbar. So she loves her arm bars, and they gave her an opponent with freakishly long arms, which are there to take. In Viana, Viana is 32 years old. She has good striking. She has some sneaky power on her herself. Um, but she's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but she gets subbed all the fucking time. She plays guard. If you take her down, she does not try to get up. In fact, there were some instances where she showed some of the most poor fight IQ I've ever seen in my life. She got taken down and she asked someone, who was it? I think it was Lucindo. She created separation and she begged for them to come back down. It might have been Jillian Robertson. She did that too. Like she is very, very confident in her guard. But when you're going against Jillian Robertson, when you're going against Lucinda, when you're going against a Jacqueline Armory, get the fuck up. Do not play guard with these jujitsu girls. It makes zero sense whatsoever. She is known for beating up that robber and then posting the picture of the guy that tried to rob her, had no idea that she was a UFC fighter, and she beat the shit out of him. She then went on to date Alex Poatan Pereira, and now I believe she has an OnlyFans where she does like Naruto cosplay or some shit like that. So her head's all over the place, and none of it is for the UFC or fighting itself. She has freakishly fast hands. She has good power. She has a good ground game, but she relies on it way too much. She also has low volume and she's a 38% takedown defense. If you want her on the ground, you get her down there, and she doesn't want to get up. She just wants to play jujitsu with jujitsu girls. So Jacqueline will happily oblige and take her down and probably take her arm home. So the pick is going to be Jacqueline Armorim. The bet would be Jacqueline Armorim, but not at minus 850. Fuck that. The round one sub is also juiced. So at this point, I'm just taking the under 2.5 at minus 260. It's parlay material. I do not see this thing going 15. And the last time she's gone 15 minutes, her being Pollyanna was against Tabitha Ricci back in 2022. She has not gone the distance in 3 years. I don't see her starting now. And then the only time before that was back in 2019. So every 3 years she'll go to a decision. She is more likely than not hitting that under, and I think that's going to happen again here. Pick is Jacqueline Armorim. The bet is the under. Next fight of the night is actually the closest fight to call. We have Cameron Simon and debuting Malcolm Wellmaker, both at minus 115. It's a straight pick 'em, homie. over 2.5 minus 180, under 2.5 plus 150. At the time I wrote down the lines, it was a straight pick 'em. I've seen it go back and forth, contingent on what book you're looking at. So we're just going to treat it as a straight pick 'em, as that's how it was when I jotted it down. Let's start with Cameron Simon. He is someone that we have not seen in over a year, and he is 24 years old now. So the version of Cameron Simon we saw was a 21, 22, 23-year-old Cameron Simon, and it showed. He was pretty green out there. He had okay striking. He has okay jujitsu. He is so wrestling. He's the definition of a generalist. He's his claim to fame is just being the main training partner of Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus is his hero. He does everything Dricus does. Only wants to fight on Dricus cards. Like those two are just butt buddies. Um, he has 47% takedown defense, so that's not great. He throws decent volume, throwing over 5 significant strikes per minute. But when you go back and you actually look at his record, it's questionable. It's not that great. He has wins over Terrence Mitchell, who never won in the UFC, Mana Martinez, who won one fight in the UFC, Stephen Kozlow, who's never won a fight in the UFC. Those are his wins. Those are his UFC wins. His losses, however, are to Christian Rodriguez, the prospect killer, and Peyton Talbot, everyone's favorite 135er at the current moment. So he's only lost to contenders, and he's only beaten people without wins. So where is the true Cameron Simon? I don't know, because I don't know what version we're getting, because we haven't seen him in a year. When these young kids take time off, they always come back much improved. He only took 1 year off. Usually they take 2 or 3 years off and they come back and they look a complete different. 1 year will be interesting, but it's 1 year off with the middleweight champion of the world. He can get chin checked. I've seen him drop multiple times, and he got knocked out in his last fight. He also can be countered quite a bit. He's just all in all kind of hittable. And he fouls like crazy. He will low blow you. He will hold the cage. He will eye gouge you. He will do whatever he has to do. He has multiple fouls in almost every single one of his UFC fights outside of the ones where he was just getting his ass beat his last two. So the draw is always on the table with Cameron Simon because there will be a point deduction somewhere along the way. You can just book it. But again, he was very green. He showed potential. What did that year off do for him? We're not really sure. On the other side, we have Malcolm Wellmaker, who's making his UFC debut. He's 30 years old. He is an 8-0 undefeated prospect coming off of Dana White Contender Series. He's going to have a 4.5-inch reach advantage, which is significant considering it's striker versus striker. His takedown defense is okay. It's okay. But his get up game is really good. So it doesn't even matter if you take him down, he springs right back up. Is his ground game that bad? No, it's all right. He knows what's going on down there, but he prefers to stand because he carries a ton of power. If he hits you, you can go out at any point in time. He is a little lower volume, throwing nothing but power strikes. And he kind of generally counters as well. I don't like that he backs up with his chin way up in the air the way Ian Gary does, that we'll talk about, the way that honestly Volkanovski does. They always just back up in a straight line with their chin straight up in the air. That's just asking to get KO'd. I don't say Simon's going to be the one to KO Wellmaker, but he does have to clean that up eventually. He has good cardio. He'll mix in a takedown here and there. If he wants, if it's a close fight, he will mix in a takedown. He really kind of hear me out. He kind of reminds me of a Leon Edwards with just a little more power. He's a counter striker. He's very smooth in the octagon. He doesn't want to wrestle, but he has good takedown defense. And he can get right back up if you take him down. He is sufficient in jiu-jitsu, but doesn't want to play around with it. He just wants to counter strike, look real smooth, be very hard to hit, throw low volume, and counter strike you. That's exactly how Leon Edwards fights. But I think Malcolm has more power. It's Leon with power. So it's very interesting because you have the high volume, reckless Simon coming back that we haven't seen in a year against the debuting power puncher with low volume. It's going to be very interesting. I think the crowd maybe will play a little part in it. They will always cheer for the American over the foreigner. Simon is from South Africa in this instance. Wellmaker is from Georgia. So he'll probably have the crowd behind him. Yeah, I'll go. I don't know, pick Wellmaker. Um, I was gonna say it's a dog or pass situation, but it is a straight pick 'em. I don't want to touch this over under. So whoever the dog is, I'll end up betting. Um, but at the end of the day, if it's a straight pick 'em, gun to my head, I'll go ahead and I'll take Malcolm Wellbaker. Next fight of the night is an interesting one. We have Damon Blackshear at minus 400 going up against Haley Alatang at plus 330. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 150. Under 2.5 at plus 120. The reason this fight is interesting is because of Damon Blackshear. I think Damon Blackshear is good enough to be a top 10 guy in the weight class. However, he has a tendency to just shit on the apple pie. Like he just does not, he's not dependable at all. You cannot trust Damon Blackshear, especially at minus 400. That's fucking ridiculous. He's 30 years old in his prime. He's going to have a 6 inch reach advantage. That is massive. He has good wrestling. He has world class jiu-jitsu. The guy has great jiu-jitsu when he's on the ground. His striking's not bad. He's not a great striker, but he's an athlete. He hits decently hard. He's very fast, twitchy. And his striking's okay. It's UFC caliber. It's at the bottom tier UFC caliber, but it's UFC caliber. His level of competition is really good, even on the regional scene, fighting a whole bunch of just killers. Was it Pat Sabatini or was it Pat Sabatello? Tony Gravely, um, yeah, Sabatini, Sabatello, Gravely, all these guys are absolute killers. And again, this is at 135. Those are all 45 pounders, so it's pretty interesting here. He's a very, very good fighter. 70% takedown defense. I'm not too sure about his chin. I've seen him crack Montel Jackson, knocked him out in like 10 seconds. But that's what he does. He'll go out there and he'll put on a great performance on a few days' notice against top five Mario Batista. He'll go out there and submit Cody Gibson. He'll go out there and submit Cody Stamen, who I think has only been submitted one time before that. He'll hit a twister on Jose Johnson. He'll lose a close fight to Farid Basharat and win 2 rounds against Yusuf Zalal. And then he'll go out there and he'll get knocked out in 13 seconds by Montel Jackson. He'll lose to Danny Sabatello. He'll go out there and lose to Chris Montino. Like, that's not a good loss at all. He'll get decisioned by Gasbag Pat Sabatini. Like, he's all over the place. You don't know what version of Damon Blackshear is going to show up. So trusting him at minus 400 is not something I want to do. On the other side, we have Alatang Haley. He's no spring chicken. He's 33 years old. He has okay striking, and he throws me off because I always confuse Alatang Haley with a Richie Long. They both fight at Fight Ready, out of Fight Ready in Arizona. So I always get confused on which one is which. Alatang Haley, I actually think is better. Haley is good wrestling. He's the one with good wrestling of the two. He has okay striking. His jiu-jitsu's okay. He's rocking a 75% takedown defense, which is a decent number, and that's going to be big going against a BJJ guy like Blackshear. He's pretty low volume and hittable, though. I don't like that. He hits decently hard, but he only throws hooks. I literally have not seen him throw anything but hooks to the head and the body. I've never seen him throw a kick. I've watched at least 6 of his fights, comparative fights. I like to watch their beginning fights. I like to watch their most recent fight, and I like to watch fights where they fought like a similar opponent. So I watched fights where he fought other grapplers. Only hooks in every single fight that I watched. And there are certain matchups where he just doesn't wrestle at all, which is weird because he's predominantly a wrestler. So I don't know why he would go fights not using what he's best at. I don't know. I just have no idea what to think of him. Um, I don't know. I just don't think he's going to wrestle here, to be honest with you. He's going against a BJJ guy. I think he's going to want to strike. I think he's going to want to wrestle box, or not wrestle box. I think he's going to want to sprawl and brawl. And if he does that on the feet, it's pretty 50-50. On the ground, it's not. Blackshear kills him on the ground. And the wrestling, I think it's pretty 50-50. So there's more things pointing towards Blackshear. However, at minus 400 against someone who likes to shit in your apple pie, I don't know. It just fucking scares me. I'll go ahead and I'll pick Blackshear. Um, I just feel like he might blow up some parlays here, so I don't really want to touch his fight at all. Gun to my head, I'll take the I'll take Blackshear in a parlay, but I'll probably only throw him in one parlay total. I cannot trust this guy. Pick his Blackshear, bet his Blackshear, but please use him sparingly. He might blow up some parlays. Next fight of the night is one we're gonna go through really fast because this is the third or fourth time this fight has been booked, and I'm not being facetious there. Chris Gutierrez is now minus 140 going against John Castaneda at plus 120, over 2.5 minus 350, under 2.5 plus 275. When this fight was originally booked, I think Castaneda was the favorite. Then he pulled, I think it's John that keeps pulling out. And then the second time it was booked, it was a straight pick 'em. And now we have Castaneda as the dog and Gutierrez as a favorite. I was on the Castaneda side. All these pullouts are making everyone switch over to Chris Gutierrez, but Vegas originally had Castaneda as the favorite, and now you're getting him at dog money. So that's the way I'm looking. I'm not breaking this fight down for the third or fourth time. I just refuse. So I'll go ahead and I'll say I'll pick John Castaneda, and I'll either bet the over at minus 350 with a whole bunch of parlays because I think the over is very, very safe. Or you can just take the dog or pass situation and take John Castaneda at plus 120 if this fight happens. We will see. Next fight of the night, we have Gage Young at plus 175 going up against Evan Elder at minus 210. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 250. Under 2.5 at plus 185. Let's start with Evan Elder. Evan Elder, just hear me out. It's going to sound crazy. Kind of reminds me of a younger Dustin Poirier. He's 28 years old. He may or may not have the crowd behind him. He's training in Florida at Kill Cliff FC, which is a great gym. But he's originally from Missouri, so he might have the crowd behind him. We'll see. His level of competition's okay, fighting Darius Flowers and Nazim Sadikov, Preston Parsons. They're okay fighters. He has good striking. He's predominantly a striker. He has sneaky good jujitsu. And he'll mix in a takedown here and there, but he's not the world's greatest wrestler. He's also rocking a 33% takedown defense. He has good cardio. He has a ton of volume. His power is good, and he has some knockouts, but it's not like scary. Um, he is a very active guard when you do take him down to the ground. And then he wants to scramble and get back up. He just really, really reminds me the way he boxes, the way he is on the ground, and how bad his takedown defense is. It just really reminds me. And his whole little Southern attitude and the way he speaks, he reminds me of DP. He is a younger version of Dustin Poirier. And I think he's really, really good. I think he's very underrated. I think he could be a top 15 guy in the weight class. You just don't know him yet, honestly, is what it comes down to. His nickname is the Phenom. I believe him. The kid's going to be damn good. I think he's going to be a perennial top 15 guy in the weight class. He's probably never going to reach top five-ish, but he could be a perennial top 15. On the other side, we have Gage Young, who is taking this fight on short notice because he is the local boy from Missouri. So again, Elder, that's why I said I don't know if the crowd will be behind him or not because he's the bigger name from Missouri, but training in Florida. Gage Young is from Missouri and trains in Missouri. So I don't know if the crowd's going to be split or they're going to just be silent or if they're going to cheer for Gage Young. I'm not too sure. I called Evan Elder Young at 28. Gage Young is 24. He's taking this fight on short notice. His level of competition is not good at all. But he's a very similar fight style to Evan Elder, to be honest with you. This could potentially be a close fight. He has good striking. He has okay wrestling. He has okay jujitsu. He's a little hittable. And his cardio's okay. He'll slow down a touch in the third round. So I'll give Evan Elder the cardio edge. The striking's pretty 50-50. Evan Elder will back up a little, and Young predominantly goes forward. So optically, that looks good for Young in some judges' eyes. But again, the longer the fight goes, the more it favors Elder. Young will try to wrestle a little more than Elder does, but he's not the world's greatest wrestler. So this fight's going to be interesting. I think Young is a dog. I think he's going to come out there and make a lot of people sweat. I think a lot of people are going to have money on Evan Elder. Evan Elder is going to be in a ton of my parlays, and I think he's going to go out there and make us nervous for 15 straight minutes, but ultimately we get the nod. So the pick is going to be Evan Elder. And at minus 210, the bet is going to be Evan Elder. Next fight of the night. We have retirement on retirement. Both these gentlemen have retired. Both these gentlemen came back. We have Matt Dangerous Snell at minus 260 going up against Jimmy the Brick Flick at plus 215. Over 1.5 is minus 145. Under 1.5 at plus 110. Let's start with the first retiree in Matt Snell. Matt Snell is good, man. And Matt Snell also announced that he just felt really bad with how his last performance went, so he just wanted to do just one more, and then he's going to fully retire. He's 35 years old. He's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. He has really good striking. He has good offensive jujitsu. Defensive jujitsu is a little bit of a liability. He's known for his famous double tapping. Um, he has really good cardio. He has sneaky good power. He's fought a who's who in the weight class, has good level of competition. His volume's pretty good. Everything is good about him. He's a BJJ black belt with really fast hands. This dude might be the fastest flyweight on the roster, and has a little bit of power to go with it. So you're thinking BJJ black belt, and someone that's really good on the feet. What's wrong with him? Well, he's a little hittable. And the worst part about him being hittable is that he has the worst chin at 125. It's bad. It's very, very bad. It's up there for worst chins in UFC currently, honestly. Shannon Clark is going to take it for the worst in history, but Matt Schnell might be top 5, top 10 at least. Chin, bad. His takedown defense, not great. 50% takedown defense. So you can take him down and you can knock him out. So he can finish anyone and he can just outwork anyone on the roster. But almost anyone on the roster can either just take him down or knock him out. The only one that may not be able to is Jimmy Flick, honestly. Jimmy Flick also retired, ran into some financial issues, and came back. He's fighting literally for money. 34 years old. He has really good jujitsu. That's it. He hit Cody Durden with a sick flying triangle in his debut. And outside of that, Jimmy Flick just ain't it, man. His wrestling's all right. He panic wrestles a ton, but it's not good. Matt Schnell only has 50% takedown defense. He should be able to stuff some of Jimmy Flick's. Jimmy Flick striking is non-existent. I don't think he knows how to throw a punch. So I don't think Matt Schnell has to worry about his chin for the first time ever, because Jimmy doesn't know how to find it. Jimmy cannot strike at all. He has a head kick. That's all he has. A head kick and takedowns, and then he has really, really, really good jujitsu. That's he's a BJJ guy in an MMA cage. And to make matters worse, he is chinny. And I said Matt Schnell is the chinniest flyweight currently. Jimmy Flick is number 2. He does not react well when he gets hit. Terrible optics to the judges. He has terrible cardio. He gasses out in all of his fights. He is extremely hittable. He has virtually no volume whatsoever, and he's just physically slow. So he is the definition of one-dimensional. He is a grappler. Can he wrestle to get you even down there? A little bit. It's so-so. I don't know, man. This is not a good fight to bet on. Because Matt Schnell is the clear better fighter. But do you ever want to trust Matt Schnell at minus 260? Fuck no. I want no part of that. Do I want to bet on Jimmy Flick? Fuck no. I don't care that he is plus 215. I don't trust the break. So you can touch that over under, but Vegas set it at 1.5. That might be enough. Under 1.5 plus money, I'm still staring at it, to be honest. These chins are that bad. So the pick is going to be Matt Schnell. I like Matt Schnell. He's the head and shoulders better fighter. The bet, Matt Schnell minus 260, I just can't do. I'll go ahead and I'll play with fire and take the under 1.5 at plus 110. At least you have plus money and just hope for violence. So if Schnell gets taken down with his 50% takedown defense and does his double tap, okay. If Jimmy Flick goes out there and gets knocked out, quickly, okay. Either way, if as long as that under hits, we hit. Pick a Schnell, bet is under 1.5. Next fight of the night. We have our first fight on the main card, I believe. We have. Oh, and then I think I did mention Snell is retiring no matter what after that fight. We have our first fight on the main card. Yeah, we have Ikram Aliskarov at minus 575 going up against Andre Muniz at plus 400. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 125. Under 1.5 minus 105. Let's start with Ikram. He's a fraud. He's not as good as people think he is. He's 32 years old. He has good wrestling. I mean, he's Russian, go figure. His striking's okay. It's not great, but he hits really hard. He has a decent amount of power on him. His jujitsu's okay. He has really good losses. He only has two career losses. He's 15-2, and he lost to Robert Whitaker and he lost to Hamzat Chimaev. That's fine. Both those guys are top five in the world. So he has good losses. His wins, I mean, UFC, he knocked out Phil Hawes and Warley Alves. That's not really telling me much. Those are two of the easiest guys to chin check in the weight class. And Alvarez is a 170 pounder. I don't even know why he was at 185. And speaking of chins, Ikram's not good. Not good at all. Yes, he only has two career losses to studs, but they were both by KO. So, and I've seen him rocked on more than one occasion on the regional scene. His level of competition's all right overall. And he does pressure forward, which looks good. But he pressure forwards and wants to counter. He's really preferably a counter striker. So his volume can get a little low at times. And again, his cardio, he has a good 10 minutes. Once he hits that third round, he does have a tendency to slow down in this fight. So please be mindful of that. On the other side, though, I mean, he has better cardio than his opponent, and Andre Muniz. Andre Muniz is 35 years old, and he has world-class jiu-jitsu. I mean, the guy submitted Jacare Souza, for fuck's sake. He has like a multi, I don't know what degree black belt. I don't even know what level he's at this point. He can submit anyone, anywhere, anytime. That's all the glazing I have for him. His wrestling's not great. His striking's not good at all. His cardio's ass. His chin is ass. Level competition's okay. His volume is ass. He's extremely hittable. His takedown defense is at 35%, which is ass. Um, Hey man, he's a grappler. We just talked about a grappler recently, in Jimmy Flick that can only grapple. He's middleweight Jimmy Flick. He can submit anyone. He has a terrible chin, and his wrestling's not that good. Will he be able to take down Ikram Aliskerov? No, probably not. He probably will not. Will Ikram take Muniz down? Let's get greasy. Let's get a little greasy here. Hear me out. Andre Muniz can submit anyone in the world with any submission. Ikram Aliskerov is coming off of a KO. Generally speaking, when people come off of KOs, they're a little gun shy to get into firefights. So is Ikram, the Russian wrestler, going to want to strike after getting KO'd, or does he want to do what he's comfortable with and fly across the world and wrestle? Because if this motherfucker decides to take down Andre Muniz, he's putting himself in trouble. He truly is. He needs to stand and he needs to sprawl and brawl. That's how Ikram wins this fight. Will he do it coming off a KO? I don't know. Can Andre Muniz catch him on the feet? Honestly, probably not. But I think anyone can. I don't think Ikram's chin is good. I've seen him rocked all the time. And one of the things Muniz loves to throw are head kicks. If he catches him with a head kick, he can put him out. So the right thing to do is to just bet the under. Like, that's the smart thing. It's set at 105, or sorry, at 1.5. Vegas knew. They're not idiots. But I'm not betting Aliskerov at minus 575. Muniz at plus 400 has my attention. Even more, Muniz by sub, again, the one of the best submission artists in the middleweight division, is plus 800 to submit a Russian wrestler. What if Ikram auto defaults into wrestling? What if Ikram gets caught with something and automatically tries to get a takedown? Plus 800 on Muniz submission, you'll never see again. Muniz KO at plus 2,200. If you really want to go for it all, I understand. It's probably Ikram round one KO. Let's be honest. That's probably 90% of the time what happens. But is Muniz live? Yeah, I think Muniz is one of these guys that's always live because he's that good on the ground. And he's fighting a Russian wrestler coming off a KO. I'm going to pull the trigger. The pick is Ikram. He should knock him out in the first round. Will I have that as a bet? No. I'm going to have Muniz by sub. And I'm just going to have Muniz money line and call it a day and hope that something maybe he falls and Muniz jumps on top. It, at this point, it's the price. So the pick is Ikram, bet is Muniz, and I will take a stab at that Muniz sub. Next fight of the night is the one I feel most confident in all honesty. We have Randy Brown at minus 250 going up against Nicholas Dalby at plus 205. Over 2.5, minus 275. Under 2.5 at plus 200. Let's start with Randy Rude Boy Brown. Randy Brown is 34 years old, so he's getting up there. He's going to have a 3.5 inch reach advantage. He trains at Caesar Gracie now, Philly, with Sean Brady, Joe Pfeiffer. And his jiu-jitsu's gotten, it was already okay. It's gotten good. He's really good on the ground now. His wrestling's been getting better since going and training there. His wrestling's okay. His jiu-jitsu's good. His striking's really good. His power is okay. He has a few flash knockouts, but he's generally a decisionator. His cardio's okay. He'll slow down a little bit at the end of the third, but he'll go a hard like 12 to 13 minutes and then just kind of coast the last minute or two. He could have the crowd behind him because he's the American in this matchup. Um, the problem I have with Randy Brown is that he's chinny. He has 6 career losses, and most of them are by KO. We had Jack Della hit him with the rear naked choke, but that was a club and sub. Vicente Luque was KO. Nico Price was KO. Bilal can't KO anything. Mike Graves submitted him, so we're going way back here. But yeah, most of his losses, 3 of his 6 losses are by KO. So that's not a good look. Or by club and sub, I'm sorry. So yeah, he gets dropped all the fucking time too. It's not just him actually going out. We've seen him rocked by Chaos Williams. We've seen him rocked by Wellington Derman. Like we've seen him put in some bad situations. So at the end of the day, I think he's a really good fighter with just a bad chin, which is a common theme for a lot of these fights here. But there's one aspect that makes me very, very confident in him. He is a old man killer. Just look at his last few fights. He fought Brian Battle, who's in his 30s, and he lost. Close decision, a split where a lot of people thought he won, but he lost. But he fought 40-year-old Elisa Selesky. He fought 40-year-old Muslim Salikov. He fought Wellington Turman, who was a little younger. He fought Jack Della and he lost because he's a little bit younger, but he fought old man Francisco Trinaldo. He keeps in his last 5 fights. How many of them are 40? Let's see. One, two, three, four. So 5 fights is the so last 6 fights he's fought one, two, three people in their 40s, and he kills them. He kills them. If you are over the age of 40, you are fucked fighting Randy Rude Boy Brown. Guess what? Nicholas Dalby has turned 40 years old. The old man killer is back, baby. Nicholas Dalby's 40 years old. He has good striking. He has really good cardio. He weaponizes his cardio. His jiu-jitsu's okay. His wrestling's not great. He's rocking a 58% takedown defense, but he does have a really good get-up game on him. And he's pillow fisted. He doesn't really have a ton of KOs. He does not hit hard. Even his last KO win over Gabriel Bonfim was an exhaustion KO. It wasn't like he went out there and clocked him. Outside of Bonfim getting utterly, completely and utterly exhausted, his last KO was in 2019 in Cage Warriors. He has 0 KOs in the UFC, literally 0. Outside of the one where Bonfim was exhausted. So he is the definition of pillow fisted. What is the problem with Randy Brown? He has a bad chin, but Dalby can't hit hard. So you have a 40-year-old that with pillow fists. This is Randy Brown all day, every day. The pick is going to be Randy Rude Boy Brown. The bet is going to be Randy Rude Boy Brown. They're trying to get him one. Next fight of the night is one of the most fun fights on the card because my boy is here. We have Michel Pereira at minus 140 going up against Abus Magomedov at plus 120. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 170. Under 1.5 at plus 140. Let's start with Michel Pereira. He is probably one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. He is 31 years old, which is shocking looking at him. He's looked like he was 40 since he was 20. He has good striking, very creative, unpredictable striking, a ton of power on him. He has sneaky good jujitsu. He has okay wrestling. He will mix in takedowns here and there. Decent volume. And he has a 76% takedown defense, which you're thinking is so-so, but it was much higher. He just fought Anthony Fluffy Hernandez in a 5 round main event, and Fluffy took him down 10 times. So 76% takedown defense with being fluffied, giving up 10 takedowns. So he's actually very, very, very difficult to take down. And when you're forced to stand with this dude, you are in trouble. This dude is just He's going to do backflips on his way to the cage. He's going to jump off the cage in the middle of his fight. He just does wild shit out there. He's been conserving his energy. He's another one that has about 11 to 12 minutes worth of cardio and is just really looking at that clock the second half of round three. But usually he's a really fast starter. Usually all his fights are done in round one, or he's able to win round one and two, and then just kind of coast in round three. He can survive. He's pretty durable. He's tough to get out of there. His last fight was a KO loss, but that was in round five against a cardio machine in Ruffy, and it was a exhaustion ground and pound. It wasn't really Fluffy went out there and clocked him. He was just tired. So at the end of the day, I always will love Michel Pereira. He is one of the guys I love watching most in the UFC, and he wins a ton. He only has a few losses. I don't count the Diego Sanchez DQ. So outside of that, he only has two career losses in the UFC, and they were both by exhaustion. Michel Pereira has only, literally, it's exhaustion and a DQ. Michel Pereira has only lost to Michel Pereira in the UFC. He's just fucking crazy. On the other side, we have Abus Magomedov, who might be the only one in middleweight with worst. Andre Muniz is on this card. One of the only ones with worse cardio than Michel Pereira. Abus Magomedov has good striking. He's 34 years old. He'll have a pretty staggering 5 inch reach advantage here. He has pretty decent power himself. He has okay wrestling himself. I'll say the striking's probably a wash. The wrestling's probably a wash. His jujitsu is okay. I actually think Michel's is a little better. His cardio is not good. I'd actually say Michel's is a touch better. His volume is not good. Michel's is definitely better there. He has 100% takedown defense, so they're both really hard to take down. So this is probably going to be a striking affair. And a boost gets pretty hittable. He's another one that starts really, really, really fast, and he looks like an absolute world beater. And then round two, he kind of falls off a cliff. And round three, he's non-existent. He has really, really good losses in the UFC, losing to Kaio and to Sean Strickland. Like those are perfectly fine. But again, Michel has only beaten Michel or lost to Michel. And Ibusa has been wrestling a lot as of late. He wrestled against Bruno Ferreira to get his win. He wrestled against Warley Alves to get the win. He's been wrestling a lot as of late, and he's been getting rocked a little more as of late. So it's pretty interesting. Both these guys are pretty durable, but have been knocked out before. Both these guys, it's pretty much a wash in the striking. It's a wash in the wrestling. The jiu-jitsu, I'll give a slight edge to Michel. Um, you know what? I'll even give that a wash. Everything is a wash. Um, but I will say Michel has a slight edge in cardio, and he has a pretty decent edge in volume. And I think that's why he's going to get the job done. The minus 140 is definitely appropriate. So the pick is going to be Michel. The bet is going to be Michel. But it's going to be a very fun and close fight. Next fight of the night is going to be just as fun as and close. We have Giga Chikadze at plus 145 going up against David Onama at minus 170. Over 2.5 minus 200. Under 2.5 at plus 160. Let's start with Giga. Giga and his Giga kick, man. He's 36 years old now. The Giga kick is 36 years old. He has good striking, predominantly kick heavy, a lot of low kicks. Loves his Giga body kick, a ton of head kicks. So it's everything at full force. He has 70% takedown defense, so he's not easy to get down there, which is good because his jiu-jitsu's ass. But he's a glory kickboxer, just like Adesanya, just like Poatan. He came from the same kickboxing promotion. He's a very, very accredited striker, man. The dude's a great striker. 15-4 record overall. It's weird. He lands 60 strikes in almost every single one of his UFC fights. Just book him for 60 strikes landed. Is that enough? No, he's getting out volumed in some of these fights. Other fights, it's just fine and they're close. It's interesting. You can chin check this guy also. I think it's more so with his age, especially being 36 now. Um, he can slow down in his fights. He doesn't have the world's best cardio. It's not bad. He can go 15 minutes. But the Giga in round one is not the Giga in round three. He does definitely slow down as the fight happens. All in all, he is a one-dimensional kickboxer who's pretty difficult to get down. And he's gonna hit you with 60 hard shots. That's what he does each and every time out. You know exactly what you're getting with Giga Chikadze. On the other side, you have David Onama, who hopefully has the crowd behind him since he is the kind of the American. I mean, he's from Uganda, but he's been living in America for a while. He is 30 years old. He has really good striking. He has decent power. He has okay jiu-jitsu. It's pretty sneaky good, actually. He will mix in takedowns here and there. Again, he's not the world's greatest wrestler, but he's able to just kind of mix up and blend the arts. He's a martial artist. He's not just a kickboxer like Giga. He's not just a wrestler or a grappler. He is a mixed martial artist. He will literally blend all three arts together. He definitely has better cardio. We saw him completely flat gasline. He flatlined against fucking Nate Landwehr. Lost. He dominated, 10-8'd Nate in round one, and then just gassed out doing it. Then decided he was going to go to train in elevation and has been training at Factory X Muay Thai with our guy Yusuf Zalal, with frickin' Brandon Royval, with all these really, really well, Raw Dog has his own thing going on now, but training over with like Jonathan Martinez and Yusuf Zalal and stuff over at Factory X Muay Thai, which is a good camp for him. Honestly, and his cardio's looked much better. It looked really good in the Romero fight his last time out. It looked really good in the Jonathan Pierce fight. It looked really good in the Gabriel Santos fight. So ever since he lost to Nate, his cardio has not been an issue. Again, he has a ton of power. He can be chin checked himself. He's yet to get KO'd, but uh, I've seen him rocked on multiple occasions. My biggest concern with him is that he doesn't check kicks at all. He refuses to check kicks. Giga throws nothing but kicks. That concerns me. That scares me a shit ton, actually. Onama is one of my guys. He's in a close fight. Michel Pereira is one of my guys. He's in a really close fight. Do I think both of them win? I don't know. I truly don't know. If Onama was a better wrestler, I'd like this fight a lot for him. But the fact that Giga can probably stuff most of his takedowns, and if Onama is forced to strike with Giga, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I think Giga's live. Will I bet Giga? No. I will not turn my back on my boy. Onama is a boy through and through. I will bet him until I cannot bet him anymore. Will I recommend you doing that? No, please do not parlay David Onama this week. It's going to be a close fight. This has split written all over it. At the end of the day, I'll side with Vegas and Onama. Vegas said Onama's going to win. I'm going to trust them. So the pick is going to be Onama. The bet's going to be Onama, but on a very, very small scale. Maybe I'll put him in a Damon Blackshear. I'm scared to death parlay. Fuck it. Michelle Pereira, too. Michelle, Damon, and David and see who fucks me up because I feel like one of them dropped the ball. But at the end of the day, I'm not turning my back. Pick is David Onama, bet is David Onama. Next fight of the night, we have another retirement fight. Anthony Smith has officially announced his retirement. Lionheart's plus 390 here. Ming Yang Zhang is minus 550. Good Lord. Over 1.5 is plus money at plus 155. Under 1.5 is minus 205. Let's start with Lionheart. Lionheart is 36 years old. He has okay striking. He has good jujitsu, but his wrestling's trash. And he's pretty chinny now. Common theme here: good jujitsu, bad chin, bad wrestling. That seems like in half of the fights here. Um, He's fought the who's who. He has a great level of competition, former world title challenger against John Jones. He's just simply over the hill. He prefers to counter, but he's pretty hittable. His cardio is looked good and bad as of late, but I expect him just kind of go out guns blazing here. He has a winnable fight. I mean, Zhang is not good. Smith has been getting KO'd left and right, or at least rocked left and right. That chin is completely gone. 5 years ago, I'm all over Smith here, and Smith is probably a minus 500 favorite. 36-year-old Anthony Smith, I understand why he's a big dog, but plus 390 just seems a lot for Ming Yang Zhang. Zhang is 26 years old. He has good striking and a ton of power. The dude hits hard, possibly a top 10 heavy hitter in the light heavyweight division. That's how fucking hard this guy hits. However, he has no jiu-jitsu. He has no wrestling. He has no chin. He has no cardio. He goes out there and he murders you in round one, and that is it. When you just look at his record, round one finish, round one finish, round one finish, round one finish, round one, one, round one, round one, round one. He has gone to round two times in his entire career. Three times. He has 18, 20. He has 24 professional fights. One has gone to decision. Two have finished in round two. And you know what? He lost the decision and both fights in round two. The dude fades. And I talk about him not having a chin. Do you remember the fraud that got into the UFC with his fake record and the UFC automatically caught him? Like they found out that he just like added wins to his record and it was a completely fraudulent record. Askar Mazarov is the name of that guy. Oscar had an actual losing record, and Askar did have one career knockout that we were able to actually see. And it was against Zhang. He went out there and knocked out Zhang in round one. The guy that had to lie about his record knocked you out in one round. That's not a good look at all. This dude has no chin. He has no cardio. He has nothing to offer but a round one knockout. Anthony Smith, not a good chin. Not a good chin at all. But if this motherfucker survives, Zhang will have nothing left. And I mean, Anthony Smith by KO is plus 1100. The fraud that made up his record is on film knocking out Ming Yang Zhang. If the fraud can do it, can the 36-year-old do it? I'm willing to find out at plus 1100. Or if you want to get crazy and think, Smith went ahead and he choked out Vitor Petrino, the last prospect he went against, that's plus 800. At the end of the day, Anthony Smith is very live to catch him. The right thing to do is to bet the under at minus 205. And the pick is going to be Ming Yang Zhang because he should go out there and knock out Anthony Smith in 5 minutes. But Anthony Smith, hear me out, another greasy theory. Anthony Smith works for the UFC. After this fight, you will still see Anthony Smith's face on UFC commentary. Do they want one of their boys going out cold? Do they want a guy that talks for them for a living to have more brain damage? I don't know. This could be a setup where they're giving him a chance. So the pick is going to be Zhang. The bet is going to be old man Anthony Smith. I'm not betting any more old men, and here I am. The very next card, betting another one. Can't help it. Then that takes us to the main event of the evening. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. We have Ian Machado Garry at minus 130 going up against Carlos Prates at plus 110. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 200. Under 2.5 at plus 150. Let's start with Ian Machado Garry. Gary's 27 years old, so he's entering his prime. He has good striking. He has 15-1. Only career loss is a close fight with Shavkat. He has good jiu-jitsu. He's fought a good level of competition. His wrestling's so-so. It's all right. His volume's all right. His fight IQ is good. The dude knows to wrestle strikers. He knows to strike with wrestlers. Uh, he knows exactly what he needs to do to win. There's a difference between a good fighter and a winner. Ian Machado Garry is not a great fighter. He's a winner. He does what is needed. He will go out there and get a round one knockout, and he'll also sit back and counter strike and win a very boring decision. Just win by any means necessary and what is the easiest route. He will do that. He has really, really, really good cardio. He's taking this fight on kind of shortest notice. But the one problem I have with Ian Gary is his chin. His chin's not good. He's never been knocked out, but I've seen him rocked multiple occasions. We saw him rocked against Shavkat. We've seen him rocked against uh, God, Kanan's song. We saw him rocked against Jordan Williams. We've seen him rocked multiple times. He gets dropped. Not even just rocked, we've seen him dropped multiple times. He does the same thing where we mentioned earlier, where after he hits you, he backs up with his chin way up in the air. And if you're good, you can catch him. If you time it, you can catch him. And he will drop like a sack of potatoes. He hasn't gone out yet, but eventually someone's putting his ass out the way he exits his exchanges. He is just asking to get knocked out. I think he's a really good striker. I think he's a top 10 striker in the weight class. His one deficiency, his chin leaves it sky high. And if you have someone with any semblance of timing or power, they're putting his lights out. Um, Prates has both. Carlos Prates is not one dimensional per se, but he is a striker through and through. He is 31 years old. He's going to have a 3.5 inch reach advantage, so he'll be able to reach Gary when Gary can't reach him. He is a really good striker, a ton of just Muay Thai fights, and he has a ton of power, like Francis Ngannou level power. He touches you, you go out. He has a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt in his back pocket. If you take him down, it's no cakewalk. He knows what he's doing on the ground. His wrestling isn't good offensively because he doesn't try. Defensively, it used to be a liability. And then he worked on it, and he worked on it, and he worked on it. And so far in the UFC, it's a 91% takedown accuracy or defense. 91's a pretty high fucking percent. Now, what I do see is that every single takedown that he stuffed was a single leg, and he stuffs a single leg the exact same way. He grabs the crotch, reaches through, sprawls his leg out because he's so fucking long and lanky, and just kind of shoves you over. He does it over and over and over again. He's very, very good at it. It's more of like a wrestling scramble. He creates a scramble and then uses his length and power and shoves his way out. He does the same takedown defense over and over again. So if someone were to go upper body, or someone were to hit a blast double, that'd be interesting. But maybe people are scared to. Maybe they just want to reach down and grab their legs because you're liable to get kneed or elbowed at any point. The dude is fast. The dude hits hard. He throws decent volume. He is a slow starter. He loses the first round often. Trevin Giles, he lost the first round. Neil Magny, it was a very close first round until he ultimately got the knockout. Leach, not so much. Charles Radke, it was a very slow paced first round until he got the knockout. Mitch Ramirez he might have lost that first round. He loses a lot of first rounds. He starts very, very slow. But when he gets in his little flow state, you're fucked. You're in a lot of trouble. The dude hits like an absolute truck. Like I've never seen at 170. The dude's the hardest 170-pound puncher I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, man. Although he can be too patient, he has 5 rounds to play with here. His cardio's okay. People make jokes about him smoking all those cigs, so he has bad cardio. That's not true. He'll definitely slow down in rounds 4 and 5, but he's not out of it. Like he's perfectly fine. He can fight 25 minutes. I've seen him look perfectly fine after 15, and start to slow down in the last like 30 seconds. Like he does, he has pretty good recovery. So at the end of the day, I think you have great fight IQ in Ian Gary, where his one problem is being a little chinny. You have a pretty good fighter in Carlos Prates, who can start a little slow, He can get outworked, but he has a great equalizer in his power, and he can knock out anyone. So it's power versus fight IQ. And at the end of the day, I think Prates has 25 minutes to find Gary. And I think he'll eventually find that button. So the pick is going to be Carlos Prates and that dog money. I don't like Carlos Prates. I'm not a Prates guy. I'm also not a Gary guy, though. So I have no problem putting money on Carlos Prates. Pick is Carlos Prates. The bet is Carlos Prates. And that is UFC Kansas City. It's a good card. It's a fun card. It's a nice one to come back to. And at the end of the day, we made money last time out. Let's make money again, baby. Let's get after it.